Welcome to the Alldus podcast, Women in ServiceNow series, a brand new series dedicated to showcasing the incredible women leading the way in the ServiceNow ecosystem. With your host, Ailsa Cassie, each episode will bring you inspiring conversations with trailblazing women who are driving innovation, breaking barriers, and shaping the future of ServiceNow. Whether you're an aspiring leader, a seasoned professional, or just curious about the impact of female leadership in the tech space, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiration and empowerment. Join us on this exciting new journey as we dive into the stories, challenges, and triumphs of the remarkable women making their mark within the ServiceNow ecosystem.
Today, I'm joined by Andreea, who's a ServiceNow expert and platform manager at OMV. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're utilising the platform in so many ways for OMV, but before we jump into that, I'm very keen to hear just a bit more about you and your background and how you got to where you are today.
Thanks a lot for introducing me and inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I started my career in Romania, in Bucharest, and my first job was in a shipping company where I had the chance to grow. I had different positions, but unfortunately, in 2010, it was an economical crisis in Romania, and I had to change my job. But every change comes with new opportunities. So I actually started back then in 2010 my career path with the current company. I'm working in the OMV group, which is a chemical fuels and energy company. And since then, I had a chance to have different positions. I covered areas from finance to commercial management and IT processes, mainly in the area of ITSM. And in 2019, another opportunity came into my way. I had a chance to move to Austria from Bucharest, Romania to Vienna, Austria, and I took the chance together with my family. What I can tell you it's that it wasn't always easy during my career path. I think one of the things that I was doing as a young person was to compare myself with other persons around me. And it took me a while to understand that we all have our own journeys and different opportunities along the way. So if I would have to talk to my younger version and to other young persons, I would just tell them that don't worry about this, don't compare yourself, just compare yourself, with your version, not with other people, and the rest will come.
Yeah, I think naturally, especially in a day and age where it's so easy to consume content and view other people's highlights as opposed to like their journeys to getting to that place, you do look at people and think they're achieving a lot, but you don't really see the struggle that it's taken to get there. So it's very hard to compare journeys unless you're really in it and learning along the way.
And exactly.
I think you being agile and having to change roles, early on in your career, it's such a strong quality within a leader, and it obviously helped you get to where you are today, which, it's not always a straightforward path that gets you to where you're meant to be, and it's done you well. So, what made you kind of take the leap to move and relocate from Romania to Austria?
Yeah, that is absolutely true what you just said. And sometimes it's not easy to take this kind of decisions.
No.
Changing countries is a huge step in life, and it's not easy to decide on it. And it comes with a lot of challenges and with cultural differences and with new people and new processes and maybe a new house and things like that. So I think it's all these changes are coming with new things, but not necessarily with bad things. It also comes with growth, it comes with new opportunities, and it's important to stay positive around these changes around you. And for me, this was an opportunity, as you said, for leadership and to grow myself with the job and to get the best version of myself that I am today. So to answer your question, before leaving Romania, I actually slept on this decision a lot. I thought a lot on the arguments. I stayed on the table and I put on the paper all the arguments between what was important to me and what scared me the most. Because we all have our fears and it's not easy to decide. But when you see your fears and when you see all the arguments on paper, then you can realize and think about a plan how to overcome these challenges. And this is what exactly what I did. And of course, I had my partner to support me, and together with the family, we discussed about these arguments and we took a decision together.
Great. And I talk about it, I think, in almost every episode that I do. But what I always find that my guests have in common is that ability to get themselves to a place of feeling comfortable with being uncomfortable, and those that can like harness that skill, them seem to go on and achieve incredible things. So yeah, it's great to hear that it's worked out, and those risks were definitely worth taking. And the journey at OMV, you've been there for a while now, and the platform in itself has changed dramatically over that time. You're utilising a lot of the ServiceNow capabilities. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a typical start for our company because we started with the first module in 2019 with ITSM, and I think this is one of the modules that most of the customers are starting with. I was back in Romania when we implemented the first module, but I was involved in the implementation since the beginning. So this supported me also to grow together with the platform.
Yeah.
I was having my first role as a stream lead for the processes part, for the ITSM, like incident management, change management, and so on. And then the platform just grew itself with all the benefits, with all the business cases that we had. More and more business stakeholders wanted to be part of the platform. So now we have a huge platform containing more than 10 modules. We have SPM, we have ITOM, we have HAM, SAM, SecOps, IRM, CSM, and even GenAI, which we recently acquired. It's the Now Assist product of ServiceNow,
Yep.
and HRSD. And I always make a joke when people are asking me what we have with the platform at OMV, what modules we implemented. I think it's easier to name what we don't have implemented. It's much easier and much faster than naming all this because the platform grew tremendously during the years. And even if the platform is so big, we still have a small internal team, which is, I think, even more impressive because we only have 7 internal administrators. They are managing all these products. They are making sure that the platform is held. They are conducting upgrades every year. So we are working in a small team, internal team, and operating all these modules. But of course, this cannot be done all alone. We have a SIAM environment at OMV. We work in collaboration with other vendors, and we also have a permanent external support for operating the platform. We have a partner for that. But in general, with the team that we have, we are able to cover all these topics. And we are proud to be one of the first ServiceNow customers in Austria who implemented GenAI solution in the productive system. Because since last year in July, when we started with GenAI, we developed a lot in this area. And we will continue to develop our roadmap based on these capabilities.
Great. Yeah, I think we're going to talk on how you're utilising the Gen AI feature just in a bit, but with such a large instance and so many products and externals that you're collaborating on to maximise the ServiceNow ecosystem for you, how do you kind of manage, so many externals and internals working together, and what measures do you take to ensure best practice?
I think our first lesson when we implemented ITSM, even in the first weeks, was that without a strong governance model, it is impossible to keep up with everything that is coming.
Yep.
The platform capabilities are impressive. Every year, new features are coming. With every release, ServiceNow is coming with something new. And for us, it was the first learning that a strong governance model would support us to follow the best practices in a standardized way across the platform. Because on the way, we implemented more and more modules, and a lot of data is to be maintained in the platform. So we have processes how to capture new improvements. We have strong processes on how to develop our roadmap to make sure that we are following the best practices and that we keep our platform health. We also have this operating model in place because working with so many vendors in different projects in operational part, we need an operating model being transparent to our business and bringing clarity on the roles and responsibilities across the platform. And another thing that we are doing, and I think it's very important, maybe for some other customers that I've been discussing with, this is sometimes forgotten, but we are trying to be regular on the health check scans that we are doing on the platform, because this way you can monitor your performance, this way you can monitor the manageability and upgradability, and you have these pillars that you receive a report with all these tasks that you can do to be compliant with the best practices. And we have a process around this, and it works perfectly. And I would recommend all the other customers to make sure that they have this kind of governance model, operating model, and health check scans processes in place.
Yeah, it's really good advice. I know we also speak a lot about doing everything you can to try and avoid technical debt and create longevity for your platform, and it sounds like you're doing that very well. And I'm also curious, with the amount of products that you have implemented, do you have a favorite? Is that a good question to ask you? Are you allowed to say?
Yes, of course. I think if my colleagues will hear me now, maybe they will not be happy with this answer. But for me, ITSM is my favorite because it's my baby. It was
Yeah.
the first one. It was the first one that we implemented, and we grew with it, and we understood how to operate the platform. We understood how to work with these features, and it gave us the foundation of everything. And it was the first implementation, and of course, when you do it the first time, it stays with you. All this journey that we had together, all the collaboration with the colleagues who put so much effort in implementing it, it brought me nice memories that I will keep with me forever. So I think if I would have to choose one, unfortunately for the others, sorry, it's ITSM.
It's like choosing your favorite child, isn't it? So, looking at the Gen AI side, then it's been such a hot topic for quite a while now. But I'm curious to know how OMV are using it and benefiting from it at the moment.
We started with the pilot phase. We were not convinced in the beginning. It's a new product. And of course, nowadays, everyone is talking about AI. There are different solutions. It's not only ServiceNow that came with these capabilities. On the market, there are a lot of solutions. And the first question was which one to explore first. But having ServiceNow as a strategical platform in OMV, we wanted to give it a chance. So we formed a pilot. We put together a small team, and we implemented only the out-of-the-box use cases that made sense for the users. And what we did in this implementation, and a lot of other customers are asking me this in different forums, is how did we start it? How did we split these use cases that are coming? And we just followed the best practices of ServiceNow. We put all the implementation and all the use cases based on personas. And we tried to make use of what is in the interest of end users in the portal, what is in the interest of fulfillers and service desk in the backend, and what is for advanced developers like admins and so on. So we followed this structure on 3 pillars. And everything we implemented, all the out-of-the-box features, we implemented on these personas. It was also much easier for communication. We had different forums and workshops for people with deep dive sessions where they could jump in and out and understand how to work with these features. So we tried to be very agile around it. Otherwise, it would have not worked. So we started last year in July with this pilot. We had around 3 releases in 10 sprints. And we activated what was available back then on Washington release. And then because we had these forums and we gave our users a voice, we also asked for feedback, although we were afraid to seeing their opinion. We realized at the end that they liked all of these things because more than 1,000 people, I think, joined our sessions. And we were proud to present the results. And they liked our approach. And at the end, we had a survey for them, and they told us what they liked the most, what they didn't like. And overall scoring, it was more than 85% of the people telling us that they would like to keep these features after the pilot phase.
Right.
Yeah, and because we gave them a voice, Thanks to our management, their voices were heard, and GenAI was permanently added to our subscription model now.
And how long did it take from kind of idea to execution?
It was a matter of 1 week per sprint. So whatever we wanted to activate, we put it in stories. We activated on non-prod instances. We gave the possibility of this small team to test the features before going to production. And then once the week and the sprint was done, we put everything that was ready in a release, and we went to production and explained in these deep dive sessions to our users how they could make sense of these features on their daily tasks. And this is how we did it, and it worked perfectly. In a summer, we implemented GenAI. This is what I can tell you.
Thanks.
And now we have a lot of new things on the pipeline.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something that was important, kind of giving others and internals a voice to share their opinions, what they liked and what they didn't like. And I think that's, again, such a strong kind of sense of leadership, being able to give people that decision making and kind of get them bought in. Because I think the hardest thing working in technology is probably getting other stakeholders that maybe don't exactly see the full landscape and how it's going to work, but seeing how it can directly impact them so that they can see the benefits and get them bought into the product as well.
Exactly. And talking about benefits, we started observing them after a while because we had efficiency gains. We had reduction on the time that people spend on taking different resolution notes, on different repetitive tasks. Having this possibility with GenAI to write these resolution notes on a click of a button, or having knowledge-based articles once a major incident was done, capturing all the notes in one click without having this time invested in writing those things. I think this actually showed the benefits by only by having the implementation. And people have observed this and they adopted more and more using those capabilities. And that is what supported us to take the decision to acquire the subscription.
Right. And you've worked in the industry now for quite a while. You've seen the ServiceNow platform grow at OMV and just generally from working and participating in the market. I'm curious to know if there's any other kind of life lessons that have shaped you, or challenges that have shaped you to who you are today.
One of the most challenging issue in the modern era is that life sometimes feels to be on fast forward. I don't know if you feel it.
I definitely feel it.
But it's only if we think about these implementations and looking only on the journey of this platform, how it developed in one company, in the company that I'm working, is we are having so many projects. We are having so many forums and summits where we are going. By the way, I will be presenting on the AI summit. So if anyone would like to discuss more about Gen AI journey, I'm happy to share in March in Vienna. I will also go to knowledge. I'll be on the stage presenting again. And all these activities keep me motivated, but in the same time, it's so difficult to take time and slow down. And I think this is one of the challenges, that it doesn't come natural on this era where we have these capabilities with AI on all devices and with so many things that are capturing our attention. It's more and more difficult to slow down, to stop and to reflect to everything that we are doing and to be mindful of these activities and having enough breaks. And for a long time, unfortunately, I didn't realize this. And 2 years ago, I had an accident which led me to the incapacity of using my technologies for around 3 months. So I was not able to use my phone, the laptop, not even the e-reader to read any books. No screen was allowed for me. And this is a shock. I mean, from this rhythm of life that we used to have right now, and being engaged on all these activities, to have a suddenly stop, it's so difficult. I can tell you that it was very difficult in the beginning, but then when I started to slow down and my body started to slow down and my intellectual and my mentality started to be more mindful of everything that I'm doing, I realized that I was living on fast forward. And it's easy to be caught in this storm of life and
Yeah.
in all these activities. And my advice for anyone would be to just stop, slow down, breathe,
Yeah.
and try to
Take a breath.
enjoy also other activities that are away of these activities. You know, all this work that we are doing could lead to different other issues that we would like to avoid proactively rather than being in the situation that I was. This slowdown, it helped me a lot in life because I realized that living in fast forward is not what I want. I started to take out of my bucket list a lot of things that I just parked for later on when I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
time.
yeah.
And I wrote a book because I had no activities. I was not allowed to watch TV. I was not allowed to do anything. And I started to put my thoughts on paper. And this is how I managed to write a book in 3 months.
Wow.
Yes, I wrote about my move from Romania to Austria, and I've been speaking and I've been putting all my thoughts on paper on how this cultural change made me grow in life and how to overcome all the challenges that are getting on the way. When you just get out of the comfort zone, you grow the most.
Yeah. And I think you've summarised it well. We mentioned at the start that you had to overcome the challenge of an economic decline that then resulted in you changing your life, changing your kind of career path that you'd originally anticipated for yourself, making the move. You know, you also faced having an injury that again made you stop, reflect, take time to really see what it is you wanted to be able to do and how to balance work with your passions as well, and that you don't need to just kind of wish your life away to get projects and get deadlines done. You can actually enjoy every day, even if it's not, you know, you're not going on an exciting holiday. You can just live in that moment and really take it all in. That's living life, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly. And talking about career path and developing, if I would have to give any advice for anyone is to just do it. Because even this week I had a discussion with one of my colleagues, and they asked me, you are going to so many forums, you are speaking on the stage, even you are recording a podcast episode. This is amazing, but aren't you afraid exposing yourself to the large public like that? And I had to think for a second, because I don't think it's a matter of not being afraid doing something. Of course, I am afraid, and everyone is afraid, and we all make mistakes. And I'm afraid that maybe I would be misjudged. And when we are on stage, maybe having mistakes. But it's not a matter of having emotions. It's normal having emotions. I think what is important and what it means to be brave is that even when you are afraid, you still do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I think that is the moment when you are courageous and when you grow the most. And
definitely.
for the people who are listening, I would just encourage them to simply spread their wings and fly, and the rest will follow.
Yeah, no, I love that, and it's such a great message to finish on. I think when you self-reflect as well, and as you get older, you realize that we're our own harshest critics. But actually, when you're looking at someone or you think that someone's staring at you, if I'm staring at someone, it's usually because I'm admiring them. So just kind of channeling that and remembering that most people are admiring the good work that you're doing, not judging you. So stop judging yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you. Well, it's been such an incredible time to get to know you and also to be able to put this together with you. So, Andreea, thank you so much for joining us today for the Women in Service Now series.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.